Good morning. How you doing, J-Dub? Just getting everything set up. If you'll give me a minute, we'll get started. We can go ahead and look at Let me get my mic a little bit closer. Good morning, Justin. How you doing? Hope all is well with everybody. Haven't slept yet. Had to move my car. Didn't want to. Haven't slept yet, man. You gotta get your sleep in. We'll get rolling here in just a second, guys. All right, so after talking to J-Dub this morning, he was looking at shorting Discovery. Get that mic a little bit better. I wish. Yeah, I've been averaging about, I think it's been like 15 to 26% on my account. Small account challenge. What's up, Jeff? What's going on, bro? Just kind of getting repositioned, so excuse all the noise. Good morning, Reg. Good morning, Justin. Yeah, I've been averaging about 15% plus. Some days I'm seeing like 20% gains on the portfolio. Some days I'm seeing 30. It's been a give or take. Did well with my QQQ calls yesterday. Did well, all right. I won't say well on my Palantir and FCell calls. Was a little upset because I sold my FCell calls because the QQQ, the Nasdaq was pulling back there a little bit, but FCell ended up running at $18 or so last I saw. Good morning, Antoine. How you doing, man? So before we get into Disney, J-Dub, actually, I was going to go ahead and get into it, but I want to go ahead and show, what we're seeing in the markets overall and what we can expect. Yesterday in the Facebook chat, I was, alluding to the fact that with the SPY hitting all-time highs, we typically see a pullback in the markets the following day, and it actually gapped down on me, which was kind of irritating. Of course, Biden signed the COVID-19 bill, a relief package yesterday. I thought that was going to be today, which is fine that he did it yesterday, so I know that it can't prop up the markets in my ideal or my thesis for the day. And I was going into today with the mindset of potentially shorting the SPY and potentially deciding whether or not I was going to do calls or puts on QQQ. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you a blanket strategy on what I'm looking at. All right. So on the small account challenge, we started with $100 about Monday last week. So we're 2 weeks in. Currently sitting at 1687 on that account. And like I've told you guys, I have a daily minimum. What's up, Cuban? I think you're new here. We can definitely look at HCMC. We're going to look at the overall markets first so we know what to expect. Anyways, looking at it, my daily minimum is $108 a day. So I'm determining whether or not I want to pay myself or if I want to put that third of the account towards some long-term investments. So that's something I'm going to be looking at And with this semi pullback, that'll give me the opportunity to kind of catch some of these lower prices on the reversal, which is good. But looking at the SPY, we need it to stay above 392.48. If it does not do that, if it bounces above it and starts to see some rejections, then I will be shorting it. Otherwise, I will be doing some calls to the 395, looking for a $3 pop on it. Overall markets, though, as you know, I track every day. And currently, from 6:30 this morning, we've picked back up a little bit. We had a negative score of 5 at first. We're at a negative 3, so showing some resilience and bounce back. SPY's going to 395. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I'm looking at. Resetting, potentially dropping down or resetting an all-time high again. Of course, one thing that picked up on me is that the VIX actually rebounded 6% since yesterday at 10:30, and it's currently down 1.47% since this morning at 6:30. So I'll just be watching my overall scorecard and seeing how things open at the market. I'm going to track it 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, and I'll do it at every hour increment so I can see where the markets are going and keep track of that. Now, the QQQ actually bounced down, I think to 313, and bounced off of this bottom EMA, which is why I use them, because they show me potential levels of bouncing, even if they were to gap down. Bounced right off the bottom of it. Currently headed back up. I think it was trading at 314 at one point, a little bit this morning. But what I'm looking at and considering is if it breaks below these EMAs, then I'm shorting it. If it stays above that EMA, I'm going to push some calls. Now, of course, this could go sideways on me and just trend sideways. But another thing I want to look at before we get into any specific stocks is the fact that Tesla gapped down, of course, with everything else in the markets. It's currently sitting at 677. That should allow for us to find some re-entries in some of the plays we've been following in the EV space. And then to consider the last thing first, or the last two things actually, is Bitcoin is finding issues around, actually bounced off the 58,000, but ultimately looking at some issues around the 57,403. So I'm going to be tracking that for our crypto plays in our coffee and stock sessions moving forward. But right now, I mean, it's sitting pretty high, doing pretty well, has some strong momentum, consolidating a little bit, which is healthy for it to continue moving forward. All right, the next thing I want to look at, and apparently it's still weighing on the markets a little bit, is a U.S. 10-year Treasury yield, bond yield, excuse me, which it bounced back up to 158, which is where we started Monday. But showing some potential. They did an auction, I think, at like 155 on Tuesday or something like that, and it bounced back down to like 151. Went to like 149 in its lowest. But that's definitely something to pay attention to. Looks like it's having some slight resistance on 162. Of course, this moves differently from stocks, so I don't want to try to append my traditional analysis to this. Now, J-Dub was considering shorting Discovery, which was, let me see, what is it? I just had it up. There it is. Disca, D-I-S-C-A. And I wouldn't blame you. On the 1 hour, it's showing momentum loss and could prop down based on that. Now, even if it does, you can see this large swing, which is a cup and handle, even on the MACD. You can expect this to only drop. I'm only expecting this to drop about $5 tops, which is not bad depending on what option you pick. I pick options that make me at least $50 a dollar that it moves up or down. And so if it drops $5, that'd be $250 off the win, off one contract that you could potentially, I'm not sure what these contracts go for. I don't even have my TDA pulled up right now, so I'm going to pick that up while we're sitting here talking. But before I go more in depth on the options for that, then I'm waiting for my TDA to load in order to do that, of course. But I'm also going to go ahead and look at HCMC that Cuban brought up. And it looks like he's talking about healthier choice management. It's currently sub penny stock. I really don't trade sub pennies at all. Of course, you can make thousands and thousands of percent gains on these and stuff like that, and it's cool, and your buying power is so much better. But and you can trade them like traditional stocks. And if I were going to look at this, it'd be paying attention to these levels right here. It need to be above the, I'm gonna call it 2 cents, 2 thousandths, I guess, before I felt comfortable in it. But it looked like it bounced right off of those EMAs right there, and that was that resistance level that I was paying attention to, would have been paying attention to, and it could come back down a little bit more. I would look to find support on it though, right here, around the 11th thousandth, I guess you can call it. But just watch to see if it bounces off of there, and then find entry into it. Hopefully it can catapult off of that level. To go back to this, I think my TDA or Ameritrade is finally pulling up. Let me pull it over here so I can keep rolling. So I'm going to be looking at plays in the EV space again to recapture some of those rebounds. Tesla's propping up very well. I want to go back to it for a second. I'm still pulling up my option contract, so I haven't, forgot about you, J-Dub. Just give me a second. Get everything running. Tesla is looking like it's potentially showing a drop down again. And if that occurs, I want to see if it's still going to weigh on the EV space as it has been. Of course, the markets are looking pretty healthy. Still has some progress to be made before I feel like it's a bullish market or whatever however you want to look at it. But Tesla looks like it's peaking out a little bit, and that's kind of concerning to me. And that's on the 4-hour, of course. Now on the daily, it looks like prime real estate. So we're bouncing off that RSI oversold status, and we can continue moving up. Now I'm not saying, I'm not trying to speculate too much on whether or not it's going down, but one thing that is pointing to my attention is it bounced right off of that 34 EMA, and it's currently trading at the bottom 13 EMA, which is now below the 34. So something I'm watching, but I think it's going to prop up going into next week. We should see some gap ups on it, and that should ultimately allow us to see some EV movement. But now that I have my TDA up, let me look at some of those option contracts with you. And you're talking about shorting it, so I'm going to look only specifically to that side of the table. I just did the wrong thing, damn it. Let me get that out of there, and then this. So, anytime I'm shorting something, I don't go long distance, right? Because the market is still quote unquote showing signs of being a bull market, I expect these stocks to follow. Now, until we actually see some strong pullbacks again, and just because we're hitting all-time highs, just like Jeff said, I agree with, we could go back to 395 today. So I was going to do calls on it because it was already at the 395 yesterday. Of course, I didn't have any free capital to go ahead and buy those options. I should have put some money aside. A mistake on my part, in case that it did hit all-time highs. But who can actually predict that, yeah, we're going to hit all-time highs, unless you're really just analyzing everything, and I wasn't doing that. I wasn't looking at it from that angle. I should have, but you live and you learn. Anyway, so he's looking at shorting this, and like I said, I only deal with anything that has about a $50 delta, meaning for every dollar it goes down, I make $50. So if I were to jump into this at all, I would look at these 67.5 strikes right here. You'd pay about $320 on it right now. Of course, I think it's down pre-market, is it? Or it's up pre-market, $1. Looks like $1, or no, not even $1. About 11 cents. So this should come down just a little bit due to the theta pulling back on it. The only thing that doesn't interest me about it is the fact that the open interest is so low. So it's going to be hard to buy and sell those contracts. So be careful. And if you were going to look at it, you would have to pay, like if you were to look at it on the April, the monthly options is what this is. You're looking at paying $570 a contract, but you have a lot more open interest, and you're still only making $3 less than 50. But you have less of a theta as well. Versus losing $18 a day you wait, you're losing $8 a day. So the trade-off is about $39 ratio, right? So with that being said, good morning, Johnny Blues. Are you new here, or have you been here before? I think Cuban. I haven't seen Cuban here. I haven't seen Johnny Blue, or unless you changed your name for some reason. But thank you all for being here, regardless, all of you. If you haven't already, I'm gonna go ahead and catch everybody while we have them. Add me on Facebook. I'll add you to our free Facebook chat group, so you can talk to us all day about potential opportunities and get some live updates on some things. I threw that in the chat now. It should be popping up. But back to this, J-Dub. You're going to be paying about $100, $250 more, but you lose less money in time, and it buys you up to 35 days to hit. I'm thinking this is probably, if it pulls back at all, we're looking at potentially, right around here, around the $62 range, which is give or take $4.50 to $4. And you'll make about 200 back off of it. So it's about a 50% gain, if that makes sense. Once before in the Discord often. Got you. Cool. So just pay attention to that. I'm me personally, I'm not fond of the trade just because the price ranges that it can jump up or down are very low. So I'm looking for something with a wide spread, so I'm making a certain amount of money per dollar. So like, for instance, that's why I trade the markets the way I do, is because they can jump, $4 or $5 in a day and not really make a deep impression on the rest of the markets. That's what I shoot for. Or I shoot for larger stocks. So like my large caps and my mega caps and stuff like that. Of course, the contracts are so expensive on them. So I really target large caps. It's because they can jump $5 to $6, $7, $8 pretty easily, especially when volatility is high in the markets. And that's when I win off of my options the most. And then if I know volatility is low, I know I'm going to have to spread my option contracts out a lot more in order to obtain what I would, and focusing on one stock, and making those moves, if that makes sense. So I'm not opposed to it, because on the 1 hour it's showing some pullback. Let me see what the 4 hour is showing. It's showing potential for a pullback as well, with it being oversold, heavily oversold on the 4 hour actually. But there was something that stood out to me earlier. Let me reset this chart up. Was the fact that on the RSI, we saw this strong pullback, but it rode those EMAs. So even if you see that swing, you see how the levels are high here, and it's showing the same here. Even if you see that swing, we're expecting it to line right here. So I'm not seeing this go below, $62 as of right now. It's a strong growth stock. It's continuing to push higher. I see we have a bunch of people in here. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. This is our coffee and stock sessions. If you're new here, we're basically looking at the stocks you want to look at. We're looking at the overall markets and preparing for the day. If you have any stocks you want to review, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you have a price average, please provide that so we can analyze the stock and the trade based on your price average versus just going into it blindly and finding new opportunities. Also, I added my Facebook link on the chat, so you can add me on Facebook, so you can join our free chat on there, and we can talk about trades on the go a little bit easier than me doing live sessions all day. Of course, as a lot of you may know and have been following, I make my daily minimum every day, which allows me to sit here and do this with you, if you're ever wondering. Of course, I do own another business, and I work at my own free will there. So, but ultimately, the goal is here, if you're new here or haven't been here often, is determining how you can take a small amount of money and make a very valuable account to work for yourself almost, and just knowing what's going on. But going back to it, we can look at some other trades, J-Dub, if you're really looking at getting into some options. But I hope that gave you some clarity on why I wouldn't go into discovery necessarily, if I'm looking at doing some put options. So I want to see what the markets are doing because I'm going to be potentially shorting them. We're right at that 392.48 level that I'm expecting it to go above. Jeff thinks it's going to go to 395.78, I believe. Oh, John. Oh, okay. What's up, man? Are you in the Facebook chat already? You may be. But I wouldn't be opposed to that, but it's just my indicators are just showing me otherwise. And specifically on the 4-hour, I expect some pullback. And that's why. If it can't stay above the 392.48, then I expect it to come back down to the 389.90, which is only a $3 spread. I don't really like. More so interested in some calls on the QQQ for the simple fact that it gapped down pretty heavily. And I'm expecting it to at least try to retest those 318s potentially. Strong swing that we're looking at right here. But as you can see, that EMA right there, the fact that it gapped down this morning, it messed with the EMA crossover that was coming in. And it's showing a pullback on the 4 hours as well, even on the volume weighted MACD. So the 1 hour, it's already in a downtrend. It's already pretty high as is. RSI has been high pretty much. So that's what I'm looking for. I got you. Shoot me a friend request. I sent the link in the chat so you can add me, and I'll add you to our group here. Also, want to announce we hit 250 people on 250 subscribers. Yay! Like I always say, I never thought it'd get above 100 because I'm not a YouTube influencer. I'm just trying to visually share this information with you guys. So thank you all for the love and support in that area, and feel free to share and invite other people to join us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, wherever, just so we can talk about stocks together. I want to go through our coffee and stocks list, if you guys don't mind, unless you have some other stocks you want to look at. I'm actually going to add Discovery to this so that we can track my analysis and see if it even does what I think it's going to do. And of course, this is just how I'm looking at it, so it could definitely go the opposite way by all means. We added HCMC, and there was another one that hit my what was it? Conduit. So something that I was paying attention to was contact tracing. Of course, COVID's still here, so there's still money to be made in the COVID industry. I'm not big on any COVID plays. You notice I've never pushed them. But there seems to be a new variant popping up every day, so it seems like this is going to be stretched out much longer. And one thing that I think is key is contact tracing, which I'm looking for the stock symbol. It's called Conduit. Let me find it real quick. No, that's not it. Anyways, I'll find it on site. I have it on my laptop, actually. Contact tracing. Stock symbol. But I was looking at it. And a large part of that relief bill is going to go into contract tracing. So, and keeping up with everybody. Conduit, there it is. C-O, spelled different. I'm in the cabling industry, so I'm going to add that to the list as well. It's currently trading at 675, right above a resistance level support. But I think it's kind of like a hidden gem that a lot of people aren't talking about or paying attention to. Of course, you might be able to find some better entries around the $6 level. But I just wanted to add it to the list and see how it performs myself. I typically don't add much because this is all focused on stocks that you guys want to look at. And as we go through that list, I want to see which of the stocks are performing the best. I added TMBR myself. It bounced yesterday to about 365. I did a review video on it. Said we were looking for support above the 262. It tried to gap down because of the markets. Has earnings coming out as well. Negative 60 cents on March 12th today. So I want to see if that's today. After hours. So it's right at market open. So you can expect it to potentially break through those support levels. If it doesn't, that's better. Good morning, Justin. How are you doing? Glad to have you here. But this company is great. as far as what I did in DD, and I want to share this with you guys live, because they use a 505, I think B type of setup for all of the things that they're developing, and what that means is it requires a lot less FDA requirements in order for them to skip phase 1 trials and go straight to phase 2. And the way that works is they use things that already exist, and they're basically optimizing what already exists in order to implement what they are trying to bring to market. And they have two things in late stage clinical trials right now. I've been tracking it for some time. The stock actually went up off no news. I did a no news just boom video on this about a week ago or something like that. And to my understanding, it was all because somebody tweeted it. So I guess you could say this is a meme stock, and I don't really trade meme stocks, but I did DD on the company, and it's a very healthy company overall. NLSP. But to finish up with TMBR, watch how it hits those 262s after the earnings report call and see if it dies. If it dies, then you can potentially buy this in between $1.50 and $2. That's the buy zone on it. NLSP looks like it's booming. Let's see why. I want to see what the news is today. NLSP, yeah. You know, ever since Jeff brought up warrants to me, anytime I see them on any stocks, I'm like, ooh, y'all want to look at these? Basically, NLS Pharmaceuticals is in a licensing deal with Sanorax with Novartis. See what that means. Obtains license to full regulatory data package and proprietary know-how for Sanorax. I'd want to know what Sanorax is, but when stocks break out like this, I typically will do a little bit more of an in-depth video for you, or basically like a safety video, if you want to call it that, because I see a lot of people jumping into these stocks. A lot of my comments are like, man, I own this for $21 and it's at 13 now, or I own this for $25 and it's at 9. So I'll do a video on this, and in that I will be doing some due diligence. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked, like I don't know what. But it's low float, 6 million. That's nice. I've actually been trying to do a scanner on top of my scanners that I use for my stock alerts, that help me find my stock alerts for like low float type stocks. So it's nice to see, you know, this could potentially keep jumping with having such a low float. Now, with it bouncing this much, watch out for offerings coming in, because typically when stocks do this, the company will try to access some of that liquidity, which only makes sense by adding more float to the market. So, but back to the list, I'll add it to the list. We could watch it. Are you looking at getting into this, by the way? Justin, also, I wanted to ask you that before I go into some analysis. If you're in it already, let me know. If you're looking at getting into it, let me know. All right, OGI jumped. Looks like some potential pullback coming in on it. I would watch for support somewhere around here, 348. If it doesn't find support, then it's potentially going back to 321, and that could potentially be a buy zone for you, unless it breaks through that too. So anything between 321 348 on it is a great entry. Wouldn't jump into it right now just because it ran yesterday. It gapped up actually, so typically there's a backfill that'll happen. I think that's the backfill precisely, and you could potentially get into there at a nice price and let it sit and hold. It was up 39% yesterday. CAN up. I mean, this thing hasn't stopped going up. No matter what the markets have been doing, this thing has just been running. Currently at 36.40. Excuse me. It's very overbought though. So I would like to know why. Why is it still being pushed so heavily? And it looks like it has, what is that? 25 to 15, $10 backfalls or consolidations on these breakouts. So if this does pull back at all, expect this to come at least back to the $22 level or so before you hop in it. But if you do, you should be able to catch it on some pretty nice price points. And as you can see, the 1 hour is showing me that we're still riding above the EMAs. We're breaking down below it. I want to see if it finds support right around here on the 34, around the $30. If it finds that, then it can bounce up. I'm staying out of it because it's already too high. I like to catch things before they move. That's my entire focus. I think Shad added this GWACW, and it was at like, I think it was at like $1 or something less than that. It's already up 225% if it was at $1 when we first looked at it. It's Acquisition Corp. I have no information on what it does, so I'm not going to add that. LKCO jumped about 20% yesterday. And we could sit here and go down this list of what jumped already, but I mainly want to focus on what hasn't. So I typically look at those that are down and look for opportunities in them to hop in them, buying dips and stuff like that. So we can look at that. HCMC, we looked at already. GAXY, another penny stock. Looks like it might be trying to form for whoever was interested in getting into it. I would watch it a little bit. Let's see what the daily shows. Just because it's showing a ramp up on the daily doesn't mean that it can't drop back down. So watch out jumping into this penny stock. XELA, I did some reviews on this video. Reviews on this stock the other day. And right after I did, it jumped up to like $8 after hours. It has since pulled back to 403. I went in a little bit more. Looking at it, it looks like it might be propping up, but watch out because it could still consolidate. If it breaks below this EMA, I would expect it to. But let's look at it on the lower time frames real quick. Yeah, it looks like some pullbacks coming in. But I want to see how it reacts to this level right here at the 353. Currently up about 17 cents on it. This, of course, would be our midline resistance, which actually needs to be adjusted. Or actually, I think that was based off of previous price action and why I was watching it at those levels. Let me see. Go back. Don't know why. Could just be my TDA or my TV chart is just a little bit off, but I was basing it off of that right there. Anyways, I was hoping that this would bounce off that 350 level and rebound back to the 49s or 495s. Excuse me, I'm still halfway asleep. Anyways, that would have gave you 37 times 120, about 20 to 30% on the swing. Of course, like I said, it's showing potential for pulling back. Rig was up yesterday, has since pulled back just a little bit. Riding that top EMA, I feel like it could bounce off of that, but I would confirm it by looking at my lower time frames. And as you can see, the swings coming in on the MACD. That's what I'm looking for. That's the type of things I'm looking for, and it's propping up pretty well on the 15. And I always just reconfirm my initial thought on like the 1 hour by going through the lower time frames, of course. BGI kind of settled a little bit. I'm not going to say it pulled back, but it's been performing very well. It broke through a key level around 366 on us the other day, and it has since been performing pretty nicely, riding those EMAs. I think it has some potential for more pullback. I would watch out for that, because if you look at it on the longer time frames, you can see it's kind of consolidating, but I would expect that 366 to play support on it. About the 370 now, but the 366 to be support. So if it does pull back about 40 cents, drops there, maybe you can hop into this. Be a little bit more precise, 366. Yeah. So GME, I know a lot of people are still looking forward to running on this. Looks like it's trying to prop up on the 1 hour. I'm not getting into it. It's too high. And I didn't think it was going to get back to this point, but it did. GM, we've been talking about GM in the EV space. I think GM is doing pretty well. I want to look at it from a long-term perspective, just because I would look at this as a growth stock, and I would pay attention to those $46 levels if it ever pulls back as far as the markets overall, and in between the $41 and $46 level, finding entry in there and just holding long-term, because they have a lot of good things coming out. Ford, I talked about with some people yesterday. Ford's actually broke some levels since 2016, um, above these $12 levels, and I think it was. Let me see, or do I have to go further back? Where was that? What was I looking at? I think it was, yeah, right there. 2018, and it didn't have support above those levels until uh, 2015, into 2015, broke down below it in 2016. That's what it was. But the whole point is, I don't like Ford trucks or cars, but I don't even know if they make cars anymore. I think they do. But anyways, I'm not a Ford person. If anything, I'm a GM person. So I'm more biased to GM. So, don't let that discount you and your interest in Ford. I think it's a great growth stock for a cheap price. And then the next thing is PFE. I actually thought PFE, as you guys know, was coming back down to like $28 levels, at least $30. It's doing pretty well and ramping back up. From that assumption, we could hit these EMAs like you can see. That's why this is blue. If you look deeply, this is why I like this. This is an EMA rejection. That's an EMA rejection where it breaks through it. This is, you see how it's red, blue and red? It's an EMA rejection. It tried to pass the EMA, but then retrace back. So I'm going to look at it on the lower time frame and see what it's doing. It looks like it could potentially pull back if we go below this EMA here. That's what I'm watching there. And then, of course, CNDT was one I just added. We talked about it already. APG seems like it just never stops going up. Currently in a top trend of a channel, a pitchfork channel. Looked at that yesterday. Now, are there any stocks that you guys want to look at?
What time is it?
7:51. I know.
Can we go at 7:55 because that's the time we're supposed to be going to school?
Yeah, I know. I got you, baby. If there is not, then I will be looking at some stocks that I have with you, that I'm looking at. And it's a low day today, of course, with the SPY pulling back, so I'm not seeing a lot of liquidity movements in the pre-market, and that's what I look for. What I look for in the markets are stocks, pre-market specifically, are stocks that see about 100 million plus in transactions, whether it's buy or sell. And then I use the market change to determine if it's more to the buy side, or, of course, most of these stocks that I'm looking at are on the move up anyway, so it'll be more to the buy side. And the only thing I'm seeing above 100 million in this morning's pre-market session is the VXX, which is the short-term Barclays Bank short, S&P VIX short-term futures. And it's looking like it's trying to reverse on the 1 hour. Let me see what the 4 hour looks like. So it's trying to prop up and potentially come back up to these $15, $16 levels. It looks like people are using this to hedge the markets, which only leads back to my theory that the market's going to pull down. As you can see, we're teetering right around 392. We need to be above 392.48. Really interested in seeing how the market's open. I forgot to track the market at 7:30. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll track it again at 8:30. QQQ down to 313. So you see this EMA bend rejection. So I expect this to come back down. I might be doing shorts. This is why I'm doing shorts, to let you guys know where my thesis lies. And the fact that we're still at a -3 means I have some headroom to buy it at nice price levels. I'm looking at in the money calls on my shorts. Let's go look at some of them that I might do, because I'm going to have to go here for a second, take my daughter to school, and then we can come back and look at some of these some more as market opens, depending upon what happens when I get home. So, because I do have my younger daughter to take care of. So what I'm expecting to do, like I told you, we got our small account challenge up to 1687 strictly on calls and options. I did some stock and some equities, but they weren't performing the way I wanted them. But what I'm looking at doing is 7 days out, potential shorts on QQQ, I would buy it at the 314 levels. Now, these are going to shoot up because it closed at 318. It's already down $4. So these are going to shoot up like $200. So I'm looking at spending close to about $500 on it if I do that. And that sucks because it's a lot more expensive. And it's currently trading about 313, so I can expect this to be about $5, another $200 higher. So I'm going to spend about $500 on my shorts for intraday swings to the downside, as long as I have my confirmations when the market opens. Which is fine, because what I said was I'm considering, okay, do I pull out to pay myself my daily minimum, which is about 108 to 114, which will be about $540, which will leave me with about $1,147 to play with today. And another thing is the SPY puts that I'm interested in. I'm more interested in these because it might only jump near $1 at market open and sit around 480. But the SPY is at all-time highs versus the QQQ trying to reverse. So for now, guys, I bought yesterday. Warrants were extended on RMO. Where? April 5th now? So we got more time to play on them? Is what you're saying? Which means there's more time for Tesla to stop bringing down the EV markets? And we can make some major cash? I want to see what that's looking at like real quick. I'm not sure if you guys are okay with it. I can leave the live stream running and we can talk through the chat while I'm taking my daughter to school real quick. Or I can see what you're talking about through the chat. Or I can just restart a live session. Just let me know what you guys are more preferable with doing. I don't know if y'all mind sitting here for like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. What do you guys? Are you guys cool with that? I'm going to just have to run her down the street real quick. So hopefully you guys are still here. I'll let you all know when I get back, I guess. Okay, cool. What I'll do is I'll set it up where we're watching the SPY at least. I'll be right back. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back. All right. So, SPY's pulling back. Needed above the 392. 48, as I said. Just currently seeing some rejections. Let me let everybody know that I'm back. All right, so OZCS or SC, excuse me. Let's see what we're looking at. Let's see. Looking like it's setting up on the daily for a bounce, but and bouncing back above those EMAs. So I could expect this. I would expect this to at least retest those 30-cent levels. I think you said you got in at 17 ML. I'm not sure if you're still here, ML, but that's what I would watch for sure. Is those 30-cent levels. Let me look at it a little bit more. Let me reset my chart. There we go. Not even 30-cent levels. Somewhere around the 27. It played previous resistance, played support, and then died out once it broke below those levels. I expect it to continue to pull back a little bit. Sent the link on the warrants. Let me check. You sent it on Discord? Or are you talking about somebody else, Jeff? Bloody day. I wouldn't say bloody day. Just consolidation from SPY all-time highs, which I think personally carries more weight than QQQ, in my opinion, on investor sentiment. Now, when the QQQ pulls back, you can expect anything on the NASDAQ to fall. Yeah, I saw that this morning. Steve added it in the Facebook chat. They just basically did a $10 million investment in I can't remember what it was. What was it? I was reading up on it. Alzamend Neuro. Apparently, DPW also owns a financial lending company too, so that's something to pay attention to with rising interest rates. You can expect that to perform very well on DPW's accord. Of course, I need DPW to do something. That's the only call I'm holding ever since yesterday. And it's currently sitting at 373, although it closed at 381. Currently down 2%. I'm not tripping. I can let this sit there until June, so it has some time to make me some money back. Like I said, it owes me $150, and I haven't been able to collect on that just yet, so I expect to. I'd love to see this at $10 in that time frame, though, because I make, I think, $71 for every dollar it jumps, so that's $700 I could potentially make if it gets back to those levels. But, riding that long-term trend very strongly. Hopefully we can use that to bounce off of it and move back to the $5-6 levels, which will give me my 150 day owe me. But, back to J-Dub's statement about a bloody day, I don't think it's necessarily going to be just the most terrible day. We might bounce down to like the 389.90 support levels that we were looking for before. We had a lot of issues with staying above them. Strong momentum still overall on the 1 hour. We're still pushing above that midline EMA. And typically what I look for is for the 1 hour to be down below that, this 34 EMA. If I expect it to be, just a terrible day. Looking at the daily trade log, though, what I track in order to, and this one's kind of like thrown off. There's something going wrong with it, but overall, we're still sitting at like a -3, so it's pretty much plateaued in that pullback is what that's telling me. The VIX is still picking up, only sitting up 3% so far. It's jumped up less than 1% since we started looking at it. Well, Steve. You keep buying SNDL and keeps breaking below that support level. So I think you should go ahead and, you know, focus on DPW. I'm going to look at the scanner, see if anything's changed. PRTS was on my scanner yesterday. It's seeing about 27 million pre-market. OCDX is another one, seeing about 25 million. And GLOG, of course, is another one. I have a secondary scanner that I use in case my first one isn't performing the way I want it to find some more potential opportunities. And let's see what that shows. So, yeah, seeing some big differences here. ENTX is already seeing about $2 billion in transactions. Of course, it is up. ENTX is up crazy. Yesterday, it broke out to $8. It's consolidated, already completed the continuation pattern. I want to point out these EMAs and how it bounced right off of it. But ultimately, I think this has some pullback on it. Coming in play, so I'm not saying jump into it, but see how it bounces off of around the 463s. More so, what I would be looking for is that rejection at the 493 before it bounced up. Or even so, you know, you can be a little more gracious and look for an entry right around the 463. Then I'm going to always look back at how it's traded at these price levels. And what stands out to me is that this played support before and resistance again, and now we're looking at it being resistance to support reversal. Sounds like the baby girl's waking up. Let me go snatch her real quick. What's the definition of insanity? Easy on SNDO? I'll try. And it's the star of the show. Say good morning, everyone. TRCH, sure. Torchlight. I was actually looking into Torchlight. I did some analysis on it. Or I was going to, one or the other. I think it was hitting our chart, our scanner. Has some strong breakouts here, so let's see. Let's do some analysis in it. Something that sticks out to me is that 313 J-Dub. So watch how it reacts to those levels. Currently showing some 4-hour pullback or momentum loss. Bounce right off of that level on the 1 hour in pre-market. So it could bounce back to like 280 and then keep pushing higher. It could open up the market and break right through those levels. As you can see, it gapped up and found resistance right at those levels. So say good morning. Say hey. Say hey. Hey. You want to chill with daddy? Look at some money. Let me see what the markets are doing first, Jada, before I speculate on it anymore. Looks like we might be at the bottom. I mean, this could definitely continue coming down. And what I look at is, you see how this is right on the MACD, it's so high. And we're about at those same levels now. And this is what happened the last time that we had some semi-pullback. I'm seeing, what I'm looking at is the gaps between the blue and the red line. And this one being a lot more deeper. Which means it could reverse and consolidate to reverse back to the upside. So we could potentially retest those all-time highs again. And I'm really watching whether or not I'm going to be doing calls or puts on the markets today. I don't think there's anything I'm necessarily hopping into except for RMO. QQQ trying to break below the EMAs. So once again, I want to identify that gap. And the fact that we're already below the 50 level on the RSI, this has a 50-50 chance of going up and down. So I'm not trying to speculate too much on saying the markets are going to continue pulling back more than they have already. But I just want you to keep that in mind moving forward. So, and I'll be using this as another tool to help me continue tracking that moving through the day. I just did a track on it. We're about 7 minutes out from market open. What you doing? What are you doing? Say hey. Said I'm just waking up and I don't want to be talking to nobody. POW. I was hoping that would run for you. Where's it at now? Oh man. It looks like it's back at those support levels though. If you weren't able to get into POW, you have the opportunity to do so now. It gapped down about what is that? $1.26. So definitely some upside to it. Hopefully it doesn't have too much momentum loss though, and where it breaks through that support level. It's at the very low end of this pullback though, so I think it has more upside than it does down. And you can see it retesting those 751s, which gives you about $2 spread, close to about 40% if I'm doing the math right in my head. So, you know, I know you've been in this for a while, Jeff. You could definitely buy more for sure. TRCH though, back to that, you're at 268. I just saw that comment. I'm sorry. You're doing pretty well then. 268. It's just a little bit. It's about 68 cents above the support level that I'd pay attention to. You want the mic? She wants the mic. She has something to say. Say hello. Yeah? Say hello. You can't eat it though. Can't eat it though. Daddy got to talk in it. Tesla factory caught on fire? Oh no. That is not what I wanted to hear. What did the price action do? What did it do to the price action? Did it at all? It's down to 672. I want to look up the news on that now. That is crazy. Which one was it? That's my next question. The one in Texas? Oh. Vermont, California. You want my phone? You want to call people? You want to call people? Huh? You want to call people? Man, that sucks. Let me look at the news real quick. See what's going on. When did they release that info? One of the news tickers on here says Tesla is down. You can blame Joe Biden. Okay. I'm just reading the news on this real quick. It doesn't, I mean, it says that. Okay. Nothing Tesla has done appears for the recent volatility. It's all about interest rates. What? So Joe Biden's the reason interest rates are rising? No, it's because the economy is breaking their back out. And interest rates go up when the economy does. Like, I don't... Anyways, that's speculation. I don't get into all that political shit. Excuse my French. You want some? Want some? Want some drink? There you go. Huh? Want some drink? We are about 4 minutes out. Still trying to determine what the SPY is going to do. Let me look at it from this aspect. This is typically how I look at my charts. So I can see what the movements are like across different time frames and kind of get a better idea of where we're sitting and where we're going. I need to move that one back to the 1 hour. And this one to the 4. So I've been saying that about the SPYs, the fact that we're at the top of this longer term trend line. There's more downside to it than anything. Of course, we can retest the all-time highs as well. Beta, you can't get the mic, baby. Okay, I need that. I need that. Let's see what the 1 minute showing. 10 minute, okay. 5 minute, and let's do 30 minute here and 1 hour here. Okay. That way I can kind of get an idea of what's going on. It's currently on the lower side of the RSI, which gives it the opportunity to bounce to the upside. I want to see if it does that going into market open. If it does bounce on the upside, then GME up because Biden tried to short it. Man, that's crazy. With the Tesla fire too, though. I wonder what that's gonna do with production. How bad it was. I looked at it a little bit, but you know, no injuries. I don't want to watch a YouTube video. Fire broke out. No personnel or firefighters were injured. The plant has a history of fires and is under investigation for Clean Air Act violations by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Well, let's sit back a little bit, baby. So we can eat. We can get you some breakfast in there, girl. No personnel injured. The fire leader, electric car. So this is where the Model 3 is. Model Y crossover. Model S and X. Factory history. I'm just doing some DD on this and want to know what the impact's going to be. Doesn't look like molten aluminum and hydraulic fluid. Oh wow. I really just wanted to see how much damage was done. Going into the SPY, we're a few minutes out now, or 11 seconds as far as what I'm seeing. So you might see a delay in what I'm looking at. But I want to watch these. I want to watch these jump as we open. All right, we're open now. See what happens. Immediately started trying to pull back. I'll let it ride up a little bit, if it's going to, that is, and see what happens. But it's setting up on the 5 minute. Did a double RSI bounce that I've been telling you guys about. So it could bounce back to the upside. Staying above 392. Let's see what the QQQ is. Let's see. And I'm going to track the markets as well. Market open. QQQ is looking like it's trying to bounce a little bit off that bottom EMA on the 1 hour, like I assumed. 30 minute looks like it's going to rebound. But market open can always bring downward pressure. So I'm not going to just rush into buying calls right now until I get some confirmation of the movement. RSI on the 30 minutes going red, which is concerning. It's bouncing off the bottom EMAs. That's the 13 right now. So we can continue pushing downwards, and it's breaking that EMA level right here. So that's a little concerning as far as buying my calls. Of course, I could buy the dip here, as they say all the time. I want to see how it reacts to these 313 levels first. If it breaks below them, if it basically takes a dump on us and continues pushing lower. But I mean, it's pretty low as is. I would feel comfortable with buying it as long as I get those confirmations that I'm looking for. Yeah, you see that bounce off of that right there? That's what's catching my attention. I'll look at it a little bit more in depth, and then I can go on the lower time frames if need be. Looking at SPY puts, though. I don't know if you're asleep or not, Veda May. Yeah, see, I told you it'd jump about 500, close to 500. It jumped to 528 to be exact. So a little bit above it. Currently at 391, excuse me. I want to pull that back up. Actually need a second tab for the SPY. Let's see what's going on, guys. Let's see what's going on. All right, looks like we're seeing some bounce back though from the markets overall. Um, International equities are down. I don't know if you guys saw it, but France is seeing an increase in COVID-19 cases again. The VIX is flat right now from our last track, but currently up. Currently down about 0.5% from this morning when I first tracked it. So just kind of sitting to the sideline today. Looks like no, Veda, let go of the cord. Okay, you can't pull the cord, my love. Down $15 on my DPW calls. So I went into the day negative. I don't like that. Looks like the SPY is trying to stay above 392, which I'm fine with. QQQ stand above 313. So let's see on the 1 minute real quick what we're looking like. If we find some 314 rejections, then I might get out of, get into some put options. Holding well on the SPY. Let's look at all the time frames. Looks like reversing on the 30 minute, 5 minutes, showing some reversals. But those EMA rejections at what is that? The 392.12, showing me some concern. I'll even look at this on the 1 minute. The 15 second, just to see something. What I look at on the 15 second is basically yields going up. Yep. They're at like 160, I believe. The last I looked, they could be higher than that now. You sleepy? Did you just go to sleep? So she just passed out in my arms. That buys us more time. I would kick my kickstand out on my chair so she could stay more comfortable. Now you could probably hear me better. Had to keep my mic away from her. She always likes to pull on it. Poor baby. Sleepy. She kept us up all night. Kept my wife up all night for sure. It's okay. We're okay. Oh, no. Sorry for my one-hand typing. And she's out. Yeah, so if you're on our Discord channel, YouTube apparently restricted Norrock's channel for no apparent reason, and then he just said his appeal was denied. Makes no sense to me. Looks like the markets are trying to hold in there. 30 minutes still rebounding on SPY. Same for the QQQ. Looks like it's trying to stay above that 312.70 levels or so. But the 1 hour is what catches my attention in all of this, and the fact that it's showing an EMA attempt to cross over. That's on the 4 hour. Let me look on the 1 hour. Did it move? I didn't change it at all. That's weird. I think I'm overpowering this thing once again. I'm going to look back at those SPY calls real quick and puts. See where we're at with it. So yeah, still holding. Around 530 is what I was going to buy into. Of course, if it stays below 392, then I'll buy that in the money call. Oh, look at that little dip there. That was a little concerning. Now, you know, we can see a intra-market open pullback, and then see a rebound. That is possible. But on the 1 minute, it looks like we're selling off. I want to see how it bounces off of these EMAs though, right around the 3391, or what is that? Around 391, yeah. See what happens there before I say, you know, I'm doing calls or puts on any of this right now. For the most part, setting up pretty well. Double dip in pre-market. Some pullback. Of course, I'm sitting in all cash right now. I'm not losing anything to this pullback, except for the fact that DPW pulled me down a little bit. Breaking below those EMAs though. I'm gonna come try to find some support. Right there, about 310. Who all we got in here? I always like to keep up with who I'm talking to, as you guys always know. Yeah, she is. She kept us up all night. So, see, we got about 9 people in here. If you can just say hello in the chat for me and let me know who's here. She loves sitting right here and passing out, man. Looks like we are kind of pulling back on the markets, as I thought was going to happen. The SPY is down about $4, give or take. Showing the same props, though. So it looks like I'm going to go ahead and start buying my calls because I'm starting to see this rebound a little bit. I'm just not being too quick in doing that and then potentially risking money and losing that. Really want to see some more confirmations. I'd rather make less profits and lower my risk than just try to jump into something and lose money here. So holding strong on those EMAs though, I will say that. Saw some strong buying coming in. I mean selling going into the open. If we look right here, it's bouncing off of this EMA. It did dip down below it, but that was the gap down that it had, and it bounced back up. Now we're breaking down below it, so that's a little concerning. Glad I didn't buy my calls. Thank you. Appreciate it. She's best thing that's happened to me outside the family I already have. My first one, so my little treasure in this world. But let's see. I'm just trying to be patient here. Make sure I make the right calls for the day. As you guys know, I try to eliminate my human factor of patience. Or impatience, rather. But looking pretty healthy to hold up at these levels. See, except for the QQQ bouncing down just a little bit. I want to see where Tesla's at. Caribbean Cruise Line's ripping. Man, when I open up all these, you know what? I'm going to have to delegate some of the work to my other PC up here. Anytime I open like 3 of these, it's like killing my system. And it's just Google Chrome. It's crazy. Oh, look at that bounce. 392 bounce. I'm comfortable with some calls today. Actually. I refrain from my assumption that we did gap down. We're currently at a -1, as you can see. We jumped from a 5 to a 3 to a 1. My first or second, she's about 1 year old, so we remember those days fondling. She just turned 7 months old. So as you can see though, we're going green from the last time we tracked the markets at open, right at open. So pretty confident we're gonna have a green day. Well, you know, we're going to come back up and potentially retest the all-time highs on the SPY See some recovery on the QQQ. 10 years sitting at 161 now, but it had some resistance there before. Let's see if it pulls back on us now. I still want to confirm. My confirmation on the SPY is above the 392.48 when I'm looking to buy into my calls on it. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy my QQQ calls though. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm looking at in the money calls. As you guys may know, I'm up to 1675 as of this morning on the small account challenge. I'm considering pulling out a third of that to pay myself for my time. That's 5 days of my daily minimum. That leaves me with about $1,147 to spend and play with. And I'm looking at potentially buying these QQQ calls in the money, $13 calls. So let me see if we got any more pullback coming in. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad I'm waiting because it's having some EMA issues right there. But it's ultimately propping up for the most part. I'm just seeing if I can get this at the cheapest level before I jump into it. Yep, coming down just a little bit for me. Come back down. Come on down. 560. Okay. I'm gonna buy that jumped up to 567 immediately. Damn it. Let's see if we're gonna have some pullback a little bit more before I can hop in there. I want you to watch this live. See how it's going green on the EMA there? That could be a break, like a fake out. And it could pull down a little bit more and give me a better opportunity to hop into it. Yep, I think I'm going with these QQQs at 560. That'll leave me with, I need to start doing some math over here. Let me see. Where's my spreadsheet? I think I said I was at 1147. Let me pull that over here. 1147. If I buy in at 550, that'll leave me with 597 to buy into. SPY's retesting the levels I wanted. Oh, this bounced already. I took the time it took for me to do the math. It's already up $20. Sucks. You can pull back a little bit for me though. Come on down. We're at 576 right now. I mean, I ultimately think it's going to rebound. So I'm looking at this to retest the 316. So I'm going to make money on the upside. I'm just trying to buy it for the best price. Not be too quick to hop into these things without my confirmations, because these could burn me in the long run. I'm gonna make about $53. I honestly could buy one cheaper at the 530 for the 314s and still make at least $50. So I'm comfortable with that. Of course, the in the money calls currently have a lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in here on that. Hopefully I don't get burned. I'm a little more confident that I won't than anything, but broke above on the SPY 357 or broke above that 392.42 level. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy some SPY calls as well. It looks like my order didn't go through, and I don't like when that happens. Or did it? It did go through. Okay. And of course it's down $6 as soon as I try to buy it. Could have bought it cheaper. All about the right price. DPW weighing down on my account, ultimately down $10 on my QQQ calls, $14 right now. I typically have some issues before it actually, reacts the way I need it to. Now we're getting some slight rejections at that 392.48 though. Currently down $20 on my QQQs already. Don't like it. Look at that. I should have waited. My patience. I need to work on my patience better. Could have bought this $20 cheaper. That's how I look at it. 22 to be exact. But SPY's pulling back, so that's just buying me more opportunity to get into it. Cheaper levels, right at that level I wanted at. 5 minute looking strong. Let's see. Or is this 10 minute? I think this 10 minute. Yeah. 10 minute looks strong for setup. 5 minute looks like what? Okay. EMA rejections. Right at the level I was looking at. Just being a little patient here. Not fond of losing money. What do you think about C3 AI? Give me a second. While I look to make these calls real quick. Because I'm currently down $36 on my QQQs, and I don't appreciate that. Before I look at anything else, I'm gonna make these trades. Of course, I'll still have like $600 to play with, $600. So I could honestly reverse my calls right now, take a $40 loss if I wanted to on my Qs, but it looks like it's trying to rebound. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy my SPY calls. And I'm actually paying for those pretty cheap, so $371 on that Accord. I honestly could buy like 2 of these, but I'm not gonna do it because I want to buy some RMO too. Yes, Lord. So I'm not sure if that went through. Has not just yet. There it goes. Bought it for $370. Put about 117 on the market today. Currently down $31 on my Qs. Deciding if I want to trade anything else, but as you can see, everything's kind of trying to bounce now, except for the SPYs having those rejections. I needed to bounce. So looks like I'm going positive for the moment. Let me go back through the chat and make sure I didn't miss over anything. What I want to start doing that I haven't. My legs asleep now. C3 AI what's the ticker for that? Is it just AI? Oh, my leg went to sleep. Getting your weight up, girl. I'm glad I can type well with one hand. Huh. Oh, that's the actual... Damn it. Yeah, AI. Okay, cool. Let me pull it up over here. So, boom, there we go. QQs going back positive. SPY calls positive. Positive on all Accords. DPW only down $5, so that quit weighing on my damn account. AI $85 currently. Definitely has a gap to fill. If you were to get into this, if you're not into it now, you can definitely get into it. Looking at it on the 30-minute, looks like a great time to get into it. Going all the way back to before February. So let me look a little further out on the daily, see what that's looking like for us. Oh yeah, definitely, man. Go for it. I'm wondering if it has any options, because I'd be more than happy to go after them. So I'm looking at pulling out like 540 on my small account challenge to pay myself for the week. What I'm looking to do in return for that is make 540 today. So just cleared 1700, went positive on all of my calls. I'm glad I didn't do any puts. And it's all about just watching it. You see that jump right there? I mean, it just jumped almost quarter. I like the play, J-Dub. Good find. And I'm glad you shared it with everybody. I'm going to add it to our coffee and stocks list so we can track it. I do want to start going in more depth on, tracking our entries and stuff like that. So if you hop into these in our future chats, feel free to let me know what your entry was into it, and we can track that. And then I ultimately want to start learning from the trades all together as a team. As you can see, we're breaking above 392.48, which is what I was looking for, that swing that we saw on the lower time frames, which would launch the higher time frames, of course, and show some signals to the rest of the market. So you'll see sentiment picking up and stuff like that. QQQ bounced at 314 for me already. I think this is on the 15 second. So let me see what the 1 minute's looking like. And then the 5 minute, it's going green on the EMAs. That's what I wanted to see. I'm looking to retest this 316.28 area, so I might have to hop out around those levels, and I'm fine with that. Ultimately, I want to see also, I know a lot of people are interested in RMO here. I need to pull some of the weight off of this PC, though. I have too much going on. I have my live stream, I have Discord, Facebook, TDA, Ameritrade, my Google, which takes up a lot of processing power, apparently. So we've been talking a lot about RMO and their warrants. They just pushed their date from March 18th to March or April 5th. And I think, what I'm looking at doing is I can do one of two things. I can pay myself my 540 for the week, or I can invest my 540 and hold it for 10 years, So one of those stocks that I'm looking at doing that with is RMO, of course. I can pull a little bit out of that money. I think I have about $140, about $100 to spend, so I'd be comfortable with buying these RMO calls. They're only 7 days out, so I don't like that. I'm gonna shoot for I can spend $250 of it and buy some RMO, but it's all about what I need. So RMO needs to get above 1356 ultimately, and it hasn't done that. So I might sit on the sidelines for it today, as much as I hate to say that, and just let it run. Yeah, I'm in technology, so I started looking into how much Chrome actually weighs down on a PC, man, and it's insane. It's typically the top thing, and it's because of the caches and all that stuff. And so I'm pulling it off to a gaming PC that I have up above me. I'm not sure if you guys have seen my setup, but I have this like semi setup for trading as well. So I can simultaneously do things on my iMac. I'm using an iMac down here. I have a second iMac over here, and I typically have my MacBook to my left with a Windows PC up here that I use as a secondary backup. So, man, wish I would have bought into those RMO calls when it hit 13 this morning. Was so focused on the SPY and what they were doing in the markets, because that was my way of dealing with the markets today. I like the setup on the markets. I said that it was going to gap down, and that's already been, has taken place. So currently up $42 overall on my calls. Cleared 1700 this morning. I wanted to clear 1700 yesterday so I could clear 1900 today. And that's what I'm looking at doing. So if I'm going to use any of the 540 that I'm expecting to pay myself for the week, I want to at least make half of it back today. That's my goal. And in that accord, we have to pay attention to what's going on with Tesla, because I'm heavy on EVs, in and out of EVs daily. I don't trade them every day. You shouldn't have to make a trade every day. You don't necessarily have to make a trade every day. Tesla bounced back up to 383. That's why we're seeing that swing on RMO. Pretty sure you'll see FCell follow. Let's see. I'm actually going to look at my EV plays. BLNK is down 3% today. The most out of all of them. Neo's down below $45. XL trending about 12 something. I'm liking FCell for the fact that the QQQ is moving. I'm already up $67. I need to be above 108 to meet my daily requirement. I need to be above 250 by the end of the day to meet my withdrawal requirement. It's a debate. I mean, I don't need the money, but that's what I'm doing this for, is to pay myself every week to sit here with you guys. So I could let this keep going, or I can pull it out. I could risk it, and potentially lose it to something, but I'm not for losing anything. Yeah, J-Dub, I looked at that yesterday. It jumped up to $26 for you, so I'm not sure if you bought into it. I think you said you did, around the $24 range, so you're already up $2 on it. Let's just see what happens. I think it broke out from pent-up demand being stuck at those levels. People finally started looking into it. Now, unless they release some news since then that I'm not aware of, then, what I'm saying is just speculation. DPW is only down 250 this morning, so blah. And what I'll do is I will close these out, and I'll just switch the tickers. That way it moves a little bit better for us. RMO doing pretty well. Looks like I still have an entry into it. Up about 42 cents. I wish I would have caught it earlier. Sitting at 1736 right now. About to hit 1740, up $50. Pulled back just a little bit. Let me pay attention to what's going on up here. Need SPY picked up. I need US 10-year picked up. Oh, my leg keeps going to sleep, girl. You got some weight on you. Killing my blood vessels. Up 60. Of course, I could throw this money at something else and make some more money. I'm not hurting for anything, so. It's a debate. It is a debate. Bought at 24, sitting at 31 now? Oh, wow. Okay. That jumped pretty well for you. Where's it at in the list? I know we got it on the list here. There it is. Oh, 31.49. Nice. Nice win there, buddy. You're up, what, $7? So that's about somewhere about 25 to 30%, if I'm right. Winning. Looking good on the setup, too, man. On the this is on the daily we're looking at right here. This is on the 1 hour. This is what I look for. These are type of swings that I look for in my scanners. That's how my scanners are built. NLSP actually hit my who recommended that earlier. Who was that? They might not even be here with us anymore. I think it was one of the Justins. Yeah, it was. I'm not sure. Justin, you still here, man? It just hit my scanner, but it's already up 156%, so I'm not hopping in it. ENTX, I was looking at yesterday. It's up another 130% today. One to look at is SEEL. E-Bond is up 11. This is my other scanner, too. Let me go to my main one and see how it's performing. Yeah, not seeing much come across that one. That looks enticing as far as liquidity goes. But I got them both pulled up so we can watch them. Most definitely. What's the markets doing for me? Why is this US? Is it 10-year? There it is. Okay, so is it Y? Yeah, there it is. US 10Y. Currently idling out at 161. I'm going to be watching that. I want to pull up Tesla as well, so I can watch that. I'm going to look at my daily. The daily trading log looks good, man. We're still in a -3, right? But that's the overall score. The overall markets are down just 0.18%, which makes me wonder, are they trying to pull back on me now? SPY retesting those 392.40 levels, just broke below them. QQQ just broke below 314, man. So that's annoying because those types of rejections can cause us to come back down. So it's almost like I got ahead of myself a little bit. Thought that I had some confirmations to the upside. I'm still up $14 for the day. DPW actually just went positive. Or flat, at least. You did? Okay, cool. So I'll look at the, let me see. I think this will let me kind of order this properly a little more. It's still bouncing back above 392.46. So still positive on my SPY calls, negative on my calls for, just went positive on my QQQ. So, I'm playing with my emotions, basically. I don't have the QQQ listed on here either. I just realized that on our coffee and stocks. So, I could definitely use some more coffee. She had us up pretty late last night. My wife specifically was up later than me, so, Trying to give her a break. Okay. Finding support above those levels, that's what we need. And QQQ should lie just right there. Yeah, broke below 319 or 313 or 314. Damn it. Sorry. If these start to pull back, I still have some liquidity to I can jump out of these and snatch the small gains that I got. As you can see, we're seeing some EMA rejections on the 1 minute. That's concerning. The 10 minutes showing strong prop up though. This is actually a 5 minute over here. I'm sorry. So I want to see how these react. So I might hop out of these if they keep getting these rejections, and then I might buy some put options, catch some money on the way down. Currently up $50 on them, both. But as you can see, this thing actually tells me when the rejections kick in. Let's watch it on a 15-second just to kind of get an idea of what it's looking like at those levels. Yeah, I think I might hop out of these calls, man. Keep playing with my emotions. No, I'm just playing. I try not to trade emotionally. I'm so tired today. Are you making fun of me, or are you actually agreeing? I think you ran like, what, a mile yesterday in 11 minutes or something like that, you were telling me? Yeah, I think we're good, though. We're holding above that EMA on the 1 hour and setting this up for prop to bounce. So on the daily, 1 minute, 4 hour, I mean, was a place of concern for me. So I'm going to keep up with the daily. The daily looks like. So daily showing that we can keep going higher, ultimately in the long run. Of course, I'm doing intraday swings on these and making money. So up $50 right now. Flat on DPW. Thank you, DPW. It's actually going green for the day. Still down negative 3% on it, so it's only allowed me to be up 4%. That's why I have my coffee, Steven. Second cup for the day. Lost 5 pounds so far. Get it. Getting ready for that wedding. Congrats, by the way. I didn't tell you that. Congratulations. Let's see. 1 minute looking like real quick. So we're showing some prop up. I'm pretty comfortable with it. Like I said, I want my 200 today, though. My 250. If I get 280, I'll be above 2,000 by the end of the day. And I'll still have my 540 to pull out from. So that's the goal. 2,000 a day. Looking at my I have about 140 to play with. And looking at putting that on RMO, which I could buy $20 calls. I'll only make $30 though on the trade as it goes up, and I want more than that. So I'd have to pay about an extra $100. So I'm digging into my own money, or actually $200. That'll leave me with about 3 something to pull out of. Let me see. Let me pull up my Excels. Let me do some math. Sum all that. Dum. 48, 16. Where was I? 1685 when I woke up. How much did I spend? And I spent. Alright. I'm just doing some math over here on the side, guys. Excuse me. I want to see if I'm going to do any more plays today. I bought 370 and then 529. So that's a negative 370. Negative 529. And I'm looking at buying RMO calls SQZ, sure. We're gonna hit $4 today. I'm fine with that. Tell them to do it. Call them back up. I know you called them yesterday. Call them again. Tell them what I said. I need my 150. Mind you, you notice how I'm not going after these insane gains, right? I'm just being consistent with basically $300 a day every day. If you make $200 to $300 a day, you make $48,000 to $72,000 a year. That'll actually leave me with $436 to pull out if I wanted to. If I bought May calls at $350 on RMO, and that's for in the money calls at $12.50 right now. I will make $66 for every dollar it goes up. Let's look at our SQZ though. Nice prop up on the daily here. Is that the daily? That's the 1 hour. Let me look at the daily. Nice setup. I want to know what this gap down's about, because this was at mid-February. I want to know what happened here. So I'm going to do some research on it, going back to that time frame. SQZ. And that's around the 11th, I said. Something happened on the 11th. Public offering. So all that I see around the 11th and the 12th. Is that the 12th or the 11th? Yeah, the 12th. So they did a public offering. It's the only thing they announced on that day. At a 9% discount. Jesus. Well, that's a way to kill your own stock price. I think once the public offering closes, what you want to look for. Announced something yesterday. I mean, you have a $10 gap on that, J-Dub, to watch for. But what you have to do is see how many shares they added on their float and how that compares to their market cap. It's ultimately why it's probably down to 1445 at this point. Looking at it from a fundamental standpoint, year over year, negative 37% EPS growth, negative 0.27 net profit margin. So it's not that bad. And that was 2020 hasn't been added to that equation. And they're not reporting anything quarter over quarter, which is concerning to me. I don't like that. Which makes me wonder what's actually going on with the company. So I don't know about it. I don't want to tell you yes just because the price is low. Without knowing some DD, I'd like to know what the earnings look like. Let me see if they even show earnings reports on TDA or TOS rather. Man, seeing those rejections in the market it's annoying. Finding support above the 392.48 for the SPY, but seeing some slight pullback on the 1 minute, or it could break below that pretty easily. Or that's the 5 minute, excuse me. And it just broke that level. I think I might be hopping out of here. Taking what positive profits I snatched off of them. Yeah, man, we're breaking down. Give me a second. We'll get back to that. 392.27. QQQ at 313. So I'm currently negative on all this today now. Let's see how it holds up on those EMAs on the 1 hour though. I want to see how it does, but has a strong momentum swing to the downside. I might hop out of these as soon as they go positive for the split second and then do some puts. I don't like that. Slept right through the sneeze like a champ. Let's see what's happening. Need that back on the 1 hour. I'll zoom in on this so we can watch this level right here. That specifically being right, yeah, 313.15. If it breaks below it, I'm getting out. As far as the SPY goes, bouncing right out that support. So, starting to get a little concerned there. Gonna call it a day on these calls. Get it? What's this? The 1 day? Honestly, intraday trading, I typically do something like 1 hour here, and then that way I can have my 30-minute over here, and then I can kind of dissect these moves a little bit better. That being my 10-minute over here. SPY is finding support above that 392, but it ultimately needs to find some breakouts above 393 to confirm movements to the upside today. As you can see, there we go. So see, my emotions could have got to me. I could have jumped out of this trade, right? Took some losses on it, and been upset because I'm missing out on money. I at least could have sold them higher. Now I'm still going to be watching this, of course, to make sure that what I'm expecting to happen doesn't. What I've been expecting to happen doesn't. I'll probably catch these at the top end and then use my remaining free capital to win the day with some puts and go out of the week. As you can see, it's still having some issues really pushing higher, as high as I would want it to. SPY's right back down to that support level. Like, it's annoying. Just go. Just break out, not break up, not down. Anyways, yeah, I'd watch out, J-Dub, just to add to the previous conversation. Watch out for that SQZ, man. Just make sure that, we've been doing our tech analysis enough. Like, I'm hoping that you guys are starting to be able to do it on your own and identifying some of those levels that play a part. Man, broke that level of support. Quit playing with my emotions, man. I'm just reading and now I'm trying to discard my emotional stand on this. I'm not liking what I'm seeing, but looking at it from a technical analysis, it is finding that support above that 392.48. It dipped down just then, but it's finding these EMA rejections, and I'm about to go negative on my day, and I don't appreciate it. So, still positive on my SPY calls as of right now. I could sell these right now and get out of here and do some puts on it. Oh, there we go. Going negative on the SPY so far. Negative on the QQQ already. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm not liking these rejections though. I'm gonna hold just a little bit longer. I have a threshold I'm willing to give, but not too long. That's what I'm looking at. See if we stay above this trend right here. Where are we going? It's okay. Okay. Want your bottle? Oh, and we're up. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. You don't need the mic in order to sleep, baby. You don't even want that, huh? You want your pass? I love it. All right, back positive as of right now. QQQ working back to 314. Positive on both option calls. But I'm truly concerned about holding these much longer. I might go ahead and take the little bit of profits I snatched off of them. Look at that dip.
These rejections are concerning. If it breaks that trend line, I'm getting out. Yep. Let me do an analysis first before I just assume that. We're actually going green on the market, so I'm in a weird position right now. Very weird. Look at that. What is that about? Down $40 right now. Looking up some news on the side here to see if I can get some quick analysis on why the market's just pulled back like that. I don't like it. We're okay. They were super strange, man. Let's see what I'm looking at. I'm not saying the markets can't continue pushing higher. It's just like, hold up. What you doing? Where you going? Oh yeah, these are coming down. I'm getting out. I'm gonna go ahead and get out, I believe. And I think I'm going to flip over to some puts with the remaining capital I have. I'm trying to allow it to at least bounce a little bit before I do it. Let's look on the 15-second. Yeah, so we'll see some slight bounce. Let's see. I can at least sell these in the green, or at least my spies. Come on up a little bit. Now, if this takes the time to bounce back up above 392.48, nope, EMA rejection. Hold on. Yep. Almost clicked that button. Those rejections, though, man, I don't like them. And that's specifically on the 15-second that I'm tracking. It's like as is, like current movements. I try to stay reserved in these quick decisions because that's when I miss out on money the most. It's making these quick jumps. Coffee, what's up, yo? 293049. This your first time here? If so, let me know what you're looking at as far as any stocks you want to review. If you have any positions in them, feel free to let us know what your average is at least so I can do my analysis based off of that. As you can see, our star of the show decided to take a break on us, and I'm sure she'll be back here shortly. So I have a little bit of time to sit with you guys this morning. I do have a website I need to go build, but that's not going to be anything. I have the whole weekend to do that. Actually, only negative $4 on my SPY calls right now, so I'm willing to hold these a little bit longer. QQQ just broke below $13. I'm not happy with that at all. Had some strong rejections. Is actually looking at pulling back. So, continuing to pull back. I'm already down $37 on that option call. I think I'm going to call it quits at 50 on it is what I'm willing to give on all of these. And I'm only down $39 so far. Guess what? DPW actually went positive for the positive in today. Still got a few dollars to collect off of it though. So let me look at the 1 minute. Looks like it's trying to round off. I'm trying to hold without getting ahead of myself on these things, but for the most part, it's looking like we might. Well, there's one thing I'm not considering over here. It's yeah, that 10 minutes not showing me favor. Not showing in favor of me right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of my SPY calls, breaking even. Actually down $3 on it. And I'm gonna look at some potential puts, but I'm just trying to be reserved. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. And I think there's a pressure point that applies to that. So let's see. Yeah, out. So down $10 on that. $13.50 to be exact. That's even if I was able to fill my order. It was not filled just yet. Don't like that. Taking a harder hit on it. I'm trying to wait just a little bit. So I might be able to fill my order. I might not though. There it goes. Or no, it was canceled. Okay. Alright, cool. So we're still in this on the SPY. Still above 392. QQQ is below 313. I need to get out of it, man. I'm losing too much money on it. Too much for my comfort level. Down $62 right now overall, so I might hop out of both of these. QQQ looks like it might bounce off the EMA, so I'm watching. Just trying to be a little more patient than anything, but let me look at my day trading log, see what we're doing. Time is at 9:30. Go ahead and track again. Market transition. Jesus, man. I'm at my limit. I'm not looking to hold these. Yeah, not doing it. It's happening in front of me. Not okay with that. Yeah, 5 minutes showing die out, so I'm gonna get out of QQQ right now. Trying to give it a second to bounce if it's going to at all. Just not liking what I'm seeing. We have a support level that I'm paying attention to. That's why I haven't sold out of it, and that's at the 312.21. I'm looking forward to rebound off of it a little bit so I can capture some of those losses that I took. I could hold on to this. Honestly, I have 7 days to hold on to this. Just kind of seeing. Of course, I do intraday swings into the day. Nokia. Okay. What is Tesla looking like? It's at 674, man. Down 3% for the day. Let's see. Pull back on Tesla, just as well as everything else. Jeff, I would watch Tesla weighing down on RMO. Looks like we might be rounding off on the SPY a little bit, but I'm just going to make some confirmations first. Alright. I'm going to set my limits at 391.54. If it goes below that, I'm hopping out of it. Just cut my losses. Now, I've seen my account go negative 150 over these past few days, and I still win 200 by the day. All that tells me is that I bought in at the wrong times, but I was still profitable on my expectations. If this breaks below this, I'm out. And we're teeter-tottering right now. Yep, broke it. So I'm currently down $100. Still above 1,600 right now. I'm down $90 to be exact. So, you know, I'm glad I didn't go full all in with my account. I still have about $633 to play with on this small account challenge, but ultimately I'm seeing some death to the markets right now. What I could do is go ahead and buy some puts while I'm sitting here and catch this on the downfall and potentially regain some of the, I don't know if I'm going to do that though. Let me go ahead and buy some puts. I'm going to split this up, 332. So I have 632 to spend. That divided by both is 316 a piece is what I'm going to spend on some contracts. And I'm looking at 387 contracts on the SPY. A little bit lower. Man, I need both my hands. Sell calls. Yeah, right. I know. I could buy that a little bit. Let me see. I'm gonna be a little more reserved than just jumping off a cliff here. But what I'm seeing is this 5-minute breakdown. But I'm seeing some support around these levels, so holding off just a little bit. Don't want to shortchange myself. 391.35 is what I'm looking at on that. And then QQQ is just not looking healthy at all. Let's look at the 30-minute here and the 1 hour here. Got the SPY down here. I need the QQQ up here. All right, so. I'm just watching right now. I haven't sold anything just yet. I haven't bought anything else. I was down about 110 there for a minute, 120. I'm back down to 85. This might be a second opportunity for me to sell and take lower losses, at least if I'm going to even do that. 1 minute looks like it's trying to rebound. I'm going to check my levels again before I just jump off a cliff, like I said. 1 minute showing a potential rebound, 15 seconds. See how this is actively moving, seeing some rejections. Okay, so no go on that. I don't believe. What's weird, yeah, see, we just went -3. We were +3 a minute ago, and it jumped 6 points down. Ugh. Here, let me do this.
All right, so only down $79. What I could do is buy some options, lower prices right now. But I'm just concerned that the market's gonna keep pulling back right now. Is what I'm looking at. So down $100 yourself. Never buy the news. Damn dollar spiking. Tesla running the market. Tesla just got good news 16 minutes ago. India power infrastructure. Nice comeback on RMO. We were just looking at Tesla. I want to see what it's doing. Markets are pulling back up a little bit for me. I could hop in and buy some more calls on some of these things. I'm gonna go out on a limb, right? You can almost use Tesla as a you can almost use Tesla like that, an ETF to the markets overall, like the SPY to the S&P, or you know what I mean. So let me see something. Jesus. I could probably buy these. The 760s. I'd only make $16 for $1 it jumps, but Tesla's volatility has really slowed down a lot. Where it doesn't jump like $10, $20 every second. It's really been compressed. Let's see where my portfolio's at. Back up above 1600. Considering some additional call options with that pullback. Wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be, I guess. I'm glad I didn't freak out and sell. You probably saw my emotions started to kind of pick up there. One thing that's standing out to me about it, though, this is the SPY. Let me look at the SPY. Finding support about 312. I'm still watching it, though, just to be safe. I mean, I expected these pullbacks, but it already gapped down pre-market. So, like, finding a basis from there is the next goal. And it already broke down off of the trend that I was watching it. Of course, I don't like doing diagonal trends on lower time frames anyways. They help, but to see shifts at a smaller time frame. But it stayed above that 391.64 that was established bear trap. Yeah. I'm still watching it closely because I'm not for losing money. I've been doing pretty well. I have lost money before I've made it throughout these past few days, or the past 2 weeks, and holding my patience and believing in the sense of direction that the markets are going has allowed me to do so. So I could honestly buy some lower calls on some of these. I'm more interested in QQQ because it has a lot more headspace than the SPY does, being close to its all-time highs. I think the QQQ is currently, let's see, it's currently like, I'm gonna say like $25 to $26 off of its high versus the SPY being only $2-3. So what I might do is let's see what the 10 years doing. It's still picking up. Okay, so that probably was the cause for that pullback. QQQ. Let's see what we're doing up here. Down about $90. So, looking at the 7-day options, I can go split with this and buy about the 306. I'm sorry.
I could buy the 316s now. A little bit higher than what I would want to, so probably 317s if I really believe it's going to bounce off of these 312s. And it's holding strong on those EMAs, so there's the bounce coming in. All right, so 325. Let me see what my SPY options will look like. So I'm trying to do it where I can split both. We're more interested so in the QQQ, honestly, because of the headspace that it has. Make sure I'm making the right decision here. Currently only down $60, by the way. So not bad. I think I am comfortable with buying in the money 312 calls. Finding support around those levels throughout this morning. Ultimately, what we need to do is our overall tech analysis, right? So that's going back to the 4 hour, looking at the levels again, mainly just focused on the stock price. So let me pull some of our fundamentals, our indicators, excuse me, out of here. Pop on the QQQ real quick. I haven't really just dug into this one like I have with the SPY. We've been tracking the SPY a lot more heavier. I think, let me see my layers. I think I have I don't know why I didn't save to my TA. Alright, so let's see. So I did break out of that long-term trend that we were watching on QQQ when I first started looking at it. That being somewhere around there. It's at the higher end of that channel. It broke out yesterday, and then it's since then broke back in. So I think I'm comfortable with buying those. Currently at 311, so I already missed out money just doing my analysis on it. Propping up well on the 1 minute. I'll show you guys that. I'm gonna go ahead and initiate that trade real quick. So what I'm doing, see if my order filled. Yep, looks like it did. Bought a secondary call on the QQQ for March 19th, 312 calls in the money currently. My concern is, as soon as I bought it, watch this. Show you guys this stuff real quick. Show you this good news. EMA rejections on the top end. Of course, we're showing a reversal overall. So, anything you guys want to look at while we're sitting here? Hopefully, I'm looking to bounce off of that 380. By the way, or 312.80, just like it is now. Let's see. I'm glad where I bought it in. I'm okay with where I bought it in. I bought into it at, by all means. It's at the low end of this. See this RSI bounce right off the RSI. I think this is going to reverse on the 5 minute. There we go. So now I'm going to be able to start making some money on the run back up. Only down $36 now, so much more comfortable levels than I was earlier. I just needed to break out above these EMAs that it's trading below on the 1 and 5 minute. It broke down on the 30 minute EMAs. You see how it went red right there? I can make that a little bit bigger. See how it went red right there? And as soon as the 13 hit the 34, we started seeing that reversal come into play. And that's ultimately why I went ahead and decided to go with that move, just based off of that action right there alone. Let me reset this chart, and then pick this back up. So those are my trades for the day. I'm still trading the markets overall just because, as you've seen, we saw some pullbacks due to the SPY hitting all-time highs yesterday or near those levels. A lot of people are thinking that it's going to set new all-time highs. That's fine if it does, but I think we're a little bit higher. We might see some slight pullback with the 10-year picking up a little bit. It's above 162 now, which is concerning in the tech industry, which actually is where I put most of my calls. But I think there's a lot more pent-up demand waiting to hop back into techs. There's a large rotation out of tech and then now back into it, and that's what we're seeing right now. As you can see, it's propping up for this 1 minute crossover right here, EMA crossover, that is. You can watch this on a lower time frame just to make sure that the smaller time frames correlate with that move, and you can kind of identify reversals on that as well a little bit sooner than watching it on, like, say, the 1 minute or the 5 minute. I ultimately want to see the QQQ break above this 34 EMA on this 5 minute chart, and that'll signal the higher time frames to follow. Looking pretty healthy though, to bounce up. Looking healthy in regards to my expectations of it. So that's where I'm at. It looks like I think we've met the bottom of the pullback from the gap down that I was alluding to. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a bloodier day unless some news comes out for whatever reason that goes against the markets. Just make sure Jay Powell doesn't open his mouth today and we'll be all right. COVID-19 package was signed yesterday. I was looking for that to come into play. Seeing a gap down from the all-time highs and then a boost back up to the upside. That's not here right now, but everybody is aware that more liquidity is about to hit the economy in itself, not just the markets. There is a group of people that focus on using that stimulus in the markets. So other than that, like, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here because I have some work to do and some other things to take care of today. Those are my trades for the day. I'll most definitely give you an update. It is Friday, so we will be most likely doing a weekly recap so we can look over the stocks that we went through this week. I want you guys to provide me with your full portfolio. We review those trades together, and, if there was any mistakes made that we can learn from, how to, optimize off of those mistakes going into next week. And then, of course, we're looking at our coffee and stock sessions at 10 tomorrow. We didn't have one last week, but I'm expecting to do it tomorrow as of right now, unless anything changes. Other than that, if you have any questions, suggestions, any trades you want to review, feel free to let me know. We can definitely look at them. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. It's about 9:45. I'll look at the overall markets with you one more time. It was at a -3. We're up to a +3 at first. And then ultimately it dropped down to a -3 and has since picked back up. As you can see, the overall markets are picking up about 43%. U.S. equities up about 14%. S&P itself is up 1%. International equities are still down, which we want to see those green too as well. But the VIX is ultimately coming back down as well. It's almost lost its gains for the day. It's only up about 1%. And then the 10-year, of course, is at above 162. It's at 162.1 right now. So, other than that, had to take a quick gander at what QQQ is doing. It's still kind of consolidating there, riding below those EMAs. I needed above it myself personally, but the 1 minute is showing that it's compressing, so I expect it to break out. I think the pent-up demand is going to allow it to. If not, I'll go ahead and hop out of these trades. I'm only down $30 for the day, so I'm not mad. DPW actually went positive a little bit today, still down -$3.20 on that call that I made from yesterday. -$1 on my SPY calls, and only losing flat on my secondary. 312 calls for QQQ, and I'm currently down $35 on my 314s. So these are 7-day out options, so I'm not going to hold them over the weekend, of course, because that takes 2 of the days away and theta eats me up. But other than that, for now, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here, guys. I'm glad that you guys were able to join us this morning. Once again, as always, appreciate all the support. We just hit 250 subscribers on the channel. Somebody made a point in one of the comments that we're getting all these views but no likes on the videos, and I would like to know why, if there's anything we can do better.
just get better feedback on our videos. I did realize that some of our videos were actually in 480p versus 1080p. After I made some adjustments to my system, I guess it reverted, or some updates may have done it. I'm not sure. But, feel free to give me some feedback, whether here or on our Facebook chat, on things that I could do better. I'm always looking at improving what I'm doing. So, and I'm always willing to listen. Other than that, I hope you all have a green day from here. Hopefully we continue moving higher. I have bets on the market that we will. And ultimately what that means is you should see some green days. I know you saw some red markets open due to the gap down. But, as things start to reverse, hopefully intraday, we start to see some of that picking up. So otherwise, I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for joining us for this morning's coffee and stock sessions. Look for our weekly recap at the end of the day, as well as our coffee and stock sessions tomorrow to focus on next week, and see where everything wrapped up at the end of this week. Of course, it's Friday, so we could see some profit taking come into play at the end of the day. So watch out for that. And otherwise, I think we're in a pretty good position to at least be settled down from the market rotation out, even though 10 years still picking up. It just dropped below 162 as I speak. So, I don't think it's going to be as heavy as it was before. Just some up and downs. Otherwise, thank you all. Hit me up if you need me.